Welcome to the Business Awareness Hour with Lisa and the Music Man. Live from Studio C, here at Media Stations in Bohemia, New York.
And good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Business Awareness Hour, not the Power Hour, the Business Awareness Hour. And I am here with co-hosting tonight is my friend Linda Grace Farley, who is in Florida. Is that correct? You're in Florida?
Yes, St. Augustine.
St. Augustine. And how is the temperature today?
Low 70s. It was nice.
Good. I woke up.
It's only about 70 now.
We had 44 degrees, but this was a cold 44 degrees, like windy and cold. That's why, everybody, I am wearing a flannel shirt because it is cold here in New York, in Long Island. And
that's why I no longer live there.
And where you lived when you were in New York is even colder than it is where I am.
Oh, yeah.
So that's good. Well, before we get started, Linda, why don't you tell everybody what your real business is and what it is that you do and how they can get in touch with you?
Okay, so I am a Beamer partner.
What's
I
a Beamer?
promote an FDA Class 2 cleared medical device, and
Linda,
they
what
can
is
get
a
in
Beamer?
touch.
What is a Beamer?
The Beamer is a bioelectromagnetic energy regulation, and that's an acronym but it's a device that helps to improve blood flow by working with the microcirculatory system. So if you look at aging, for example, there's been an article that was released, aging and the microcirculatory system, and they're saying in the article that the reason that we're aging, the reason we have ailments is because of the microcirculatory system not operating like it should. And the reason it does, because we're under stress.
If they want to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
Sure. They can contact me at cyclesoflife@verizon.net, or my phone number is 845-238-0637.
Interesting that you mentioned something about getting charged up, because our guest does not need any charging up. And everyone, look at the smile. Wait till she starts to sing for everybody. I told you I was going to tell you that you can sing. You don't have to go and sing, but that's okay. But I'd like everybody to meet Michelle Wilson. Michelle Wilson is a network friend of ours, and she actually happens to be the vice president of our networking group called NRG. So good evening, Michelle, and welcome to the Business Awareness Hour.
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm so very grateful to be here.
Good. And you can.
She came in and she just lit up the room. Did you see that, Norm? It's just
that is her
she's
personality.
Amazing.
All right, I'm going to lose this job, I think, after tonight anyway, because she also has her own podcast, which we'll talk about in a little while. But let's tell your story, Michelle. Let's start off with, where did you grow up?
So I grew up kind of everywhere. My dad was one of those guys that went in and saved failing companies. So when I was born in Iowa, let's start at the very beginning, in a small community by a lake where my mom and dad met. And from there, we kind of went everywhere. I've lived in Iowa, Minnesota, Illinois, Arizona. Now I'm in Texas. So we've bounced from town to town. I never was in a school for more than 2 years my entire life. And then we moved again.
Really? Did you go to college too? Did you have to?
I did. I went to school in Tempe at Arizona State University. And then I also went to a community college that was kind of close to there called MCC.
So you lived in Arizona as well as all the other places?
Correct.
Great. And what was your name?
So Michelle, I'm sorry, Norm, but Michelle can also feel compassion for children who are parents are military.
Absolutely.
Because they do that as well.
Absolutely. It's kind of one of those, you just get settled and then you're up and moving all over again.
What did you do
Yes.
about friends? Did you keep any friends along the years, or they?
I have a few friends. Most of the friends that I have now are ones that I made when my kids were in school. So they were PTA moms because I was super involved in the PTA in our school. I was president, treasurer multiple times just to stay in a seat. But I had a group of amazing individuals that I worked with then because our whole focus was making sure that the school got what they needed so that the kids got what they needed.
Now, you mentioned that your dad was like a business consultant, and he traveled from place to place, and that's why you moved. Did he have a specialty?
He actually worked in the manufactured housing industry for a lot of years. So he would go in and save failing, as they called them, sales lots at the time, get everything moving the way it needed to be, get salespeople trained so that they were being effective and efficient in their jobs and took away all of that stuff that didn't need to happen behind the scenes and made them much more effective. So we moved a lot. He would go in and get things rocking and a rolling, and then they'd move him to the next place.
Is that how you got your entrepreneurial spirit? That
More
is
than
so
likely, and my mom,
evident with you.
yes, and my mom was also one of those people too. She was very entrepreneurial. I don't think there wasn't a side hustle my mom probably didn't do. Back in the day, it was Avon, and she
Right.
was the Avon lady and the Amway lady, and she did all of those things, growing up. So we got an idea of what that could look like.
When I was in the headhunting business back in the day, Avon was a big client of mine. They were in New York, off of Fifth Avenue, and
Oh,
I
for
wasn't
sure,
far,
for sure.
too far away.
And they're still an amazing company that does very well.
And they still have that pink car, right?
Oh, that's
No,
Mary
that's
Kay.
Mary
Oh,
Kay.
excuse me, I didn't know that.
We did that in unison, Michelle. You noticed that?
That's right. And Mary Kay is actually based out of Dallas, Fort Worth, which isn't far from me.
Nice.
Yeah.
One thing that is also so real about you and everybody who knows you within in NRG is you never say no to anybody. You got that loving, serving type of spirit that in the world your business world, which we're gonna jump into now. I just wanted to give everybody a little personal side of who and what you are, and then we're gonna jump now into a little bit more business and tell everybody all about you. So you work with a company or for a company called ACN, correct?
That is correct.
And it's a pretty large company. Tell everybody what it stands for and what it's all about.
So ACN is American Communication Network, and we started over 30 years ago. A team of 4 guys got together and decided they wanted to make the perfect business because they had done a lot of different things and been involved in everything. They are still the forefront of who we are and what we do, which I absolutely love. The other thing I love about it is they're super personal. I mean, I'm, as you would say, down the totem pole quite a bit, but I've had dinner with all of them multiple times. They have a conversation with you. They make you feel part of something that is truly special, which is one of the things I loved about them. They also think beyond just business. So we give back, which is a huge, huge passion of mine, is to make sure we give back. And as we talk more about it, it's one of those things when someone signs up for a service with us, a part of that goes back to feed kids in a geographical location that you're located in with local food banks so that we're making sure that kids don't go hungry. And that was a huge passion of mine when my kids were in school too.
I'm listening to you talk, and I've heard these things before, and I just get so amazed by all the different things that you do. Now, you said this is like a multi-conglomerate type of company.
Sure, it's a multi-level marketing company, and we've been around for about 30 years. One thing I love about it is that they've evolved, right? So we started out in the long distance business where you basically had one of those long distance credit cards that you use to make a long distance call.
Back
That's
in
what
the
they
day?
started out with. And from there, we've ventured out and we have 7 to 9 different products that we offer. We are also in all 50 states and 27 countries. So we're a global company now, and we help a lot of people all over the world.
By the way, have you
And
done
Michelle,
this
how
before?
long-
Because I don't have to ask you any questions. You just keep on going, which is really
Yeah.
cool. Go ahead, Linda.
I was just going to ask Michelle, how long have you been involved with the ACN?
So ACN, I've been involved with for almost 5 years now.
Okay.
So was introduced to it by some people I went to church with that knew I had been in different industries. Because let me tell you,
Sure.
I've done them all. This,
Sure.
however, has been more along what I value as a human being, to be able to serve others, also to help them be able to be either financially solvent in the fact that they're saving money on stuff that they have to pay anyway, or to
Mhm.
show them how to do this so that they can have another stream of income. Because as we found out through the pandemic, people with more than one stream of income actually fared better. And they're saying
Yes.
anywhere from 4 to 7 streams of income will keep you safe.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I want to address, because I promised you that I would go and do this, is that you have a new product, new service that your company is offering and that you're involved in. I want you just to mention, to give a little brief description on what it is, because then we're gonna go after that in the second half of the show, because we have so much stuff to do with you, and we're going to introduce all your services and all your products. And I'll just tell everybody out there, they're for residential people and they're for commercial people. They're both. So we're going to have information and product and service to go and offer everybody tonight. So let's start off with really what you want to talk about first, is that the health service.
Sure. So we partnered with a company a little over a year and a half ago called Impact Health Sharing. And it's a viable alternative to traditional health insurance that can save families and employers 30 to 70% off of health coverage premiums, which is huge when you look at that. And I know personally, we just got stuff from my husband's company, and all of those premiums are going up right now in huge leaps and bounds. It gives great coverage. It works kind of like a regular insurance. You go in with your little card, just like you would your other one. There's no networks. You get the services you need. They negotiate the bills, and you pay whatever level of what we call a PRA, or what most people refer to as a deductible.
So
and then we go forward.
Can I pick any doctor?
You can pick any doctor.
Any...
There's no networks.
That's great.
Wow. That sounds really good.
So, and I love it because it can go state to, so if you know people that are truck drivers, traveling nurses, those people that cross lines, a lot of insurances don't travel with you well. This one does. So that was pretty exciting for me because I have a son-in-law in the trucking industry.
Linda, let me ask you a question, because it's pertaining to this. There's the service that you do with this Beamer, and Michelle, could you use her service? Can Linda use yours and you use hers?
I actually have a Beamer, so I do use the Beamer services.
See, that's why she's so energized.
That's right. I got the blood flow going the way it's supposed to go.
I think your blood flow is a little overdone. Okay.
So I love the Beamer.
So
it's an amazing product.
I was on target with that. See, I'm thinking I was trying to make a match here, and you were
feeling the vibe there, Norm.
Well, you know me and you, and so.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, so we're going to come back to this again, because what this item is there are so many other companies that are trying. Let's do it now. There are so many other companies that are trying to get into it, and we have people in NRG that also do something similar. Why health sharing versus another company?
So Impact Health Sharing is based a little bit different than some other companies. There are other health share companies, and health sharing's been around for almost 20, 25 years, but it mainly was predominantly in the churches. So you had to be a member of a congregation, and then everyone would put their money in the coffer, so to speak. And when a bill came due, when you went to the doctor, you took it to the church, and they paid a portion of that bill or all of that.
They were like self-insuring.
Correct. And what happened is when everything changed in our insurance system, back when Obamacare came on the scene, there were changes to the law that any non-for-profit could open a health share. And the person who started ours is a name you'll probably recognize, Philip Chrysler. His dad invented the convertible. So he really didn't need to do anything to generate income, because they were good, right? But he saw that there were so many families in bankruptcy, struggling in the healthcare space because healthcare is expensive. And he thought, there's something more I can give back. So they started working with this program and adopting it and bringing it forward, which has been an incredible gift to so many families. It covers so many different things, just like traditional health insurance. There's an RX program to it, right?
Mhm.
So there's prescription coverage. Me personally, what I saw is I had a prescription monthly, $1,200 a month I was paying
Oh,
with my husband's corporate insurance. It was $9.58 on this plan.
wow.
So that alone,
Wow.
even after I paid my premium monthly, which was a lot less, ended up pocketing in my household $600 a month back into our pocket in not having to pay that one prescription.
Is that normal in your system?
It is. I've seen amazing things. I've had a gentleman that is also in the business who ended up having an emergency, ended up in an ER. He had a bill for $22,000 for his medical bill. Impact then, he went in, showed him their card. Impact then contacted the hospital and then did repricing. His out of pocket was $1,000. They repriced it from 22 down to 1,000.
That's sensational, whatever, but it's
Indeed.
disgusting.
It is.
It's
It is.
disgusting because if you don't
And
have
part
some,
of the
or you
reason we
don't-
can do it that way is, one, we're a non-for-profit, right? We don't
Yeah.
do like traditional health insurance where they go in and they'll negotiate, but then they add money back on top, so they're making a profit. So they're negotiating to an extent, but they still have to be able to answer to their shareholders, right? They have to
Yes.
make sure that they're paying that guy at the top, what is it, $2.5 billion to say, I'm the
Oh.
guy, right?
it's
Oh,
interesting.
Michelle, you just hit on that is one of my trigger points when I look
Yes.
at like nonprofits, for example, right? You mentioned
Absolutely.
nonprofits. There's nonprofits I won't donate any money to. When I see the CEO is making 1.3 or 1.4 million, wait a minute, what's wrong with that picture?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Well, and
crazy.
I love the way they made this happen. They were very thoughtful in the process. Like, everything is wide open. There's not a penny that's not accounted for, that a consumer who uses the product can't go in on the portal that they are and show where every penny goes.
It's
I
interesting.
mean, what's going for administration fees. Who's getting, what families' bills were being paid, how much has been paid out for all of the things that they do, and it's wide open. So there is absolute transparency in what they do, which is huge in the industry.
Today,
Huge.
I think the two of you know that I've had some eye surgery about a month and a half ago,
Mhm.
and from that, I've had some problems, visual problems, and turns out that during the course of the operation, some eyelashes got in my eye and was like killing my eyeball. So we got rid of that. Then it turns out that I have severe dry eye. She says on a scale of 1 to 4, you're a 4. Great. She gives me a prescription. She calls it in. They call me up to verify it. Eye drops. $850. I said, wait a minute. I think you got the wrong amount of money. Here's my insurance. Take another look. Oh, okay. You're right, Mr. Wasserman. It's $301. Take another look. All right. And no, while she did that, I said, thank you very much. I called the doctor up. She gave me something that is almost an exact duplicate. It cost me $2.50.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was
Why?
genetic
It doesn't matter
Generic.
to me.
or
Correct.
generic.
Why-
Generic.
So-
I
Why,
meant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
why do we
makes a
have to go
difference.
through all this crap?
Well, that's unfortunate. And unfortunately, as a consumer now, we have to know some of these things, right? and there are people out there who advocate for those kind of things. Impact does a lot of that. And that's what I loved about it, because it's really about the client. So we had another lady, of all things, she dropped a kettlebell on her foot and broke her foot. Right?
Oh,
Ended up in the ER. And I won't guarantee this will happen every time, but it did. And it just blew me away. Impact got the bill from the hospital, called my friend who did this, right? And said, hey, who are you looking for the orthopedic surgeon you want to go see? We're going to go ahead and call ahead to make sure everything's in place so you don't have a problem. And by the way,
Nice.
How are you doing? How are you feeling? Is there anything you need from us? Can you imagine, one of those other major providers of health insurance doing that? Never.
Well, you know, the difference, you mentioned the difference. They're for profit
Mm-hmm.
and the company you work for is nonprofit.
Right.
That's the difference, because
For sure.
they're looking at, they have stockholders, right?
Absolutely.
They have to answer to. So, and they have to make their employees, they have to pay their employees.
Well,
So,
there's one difference though, since I do a lot of fundraising, right? I look at things and I understand it may be a little bit better or maybe not, as a lot of other people do. There is absolutely no difference between a business and a not-for-profit organization. The only difference is taxes. That's the only difference. Your company, ACN, not-for-profit organization, has a board of directors, has a legal staff, has an accounting staff, has salespeople. Has
I'm going to
internet-
correct you on one thing there.
Please.
ACN is not a non-for-profit. Impact Health Share is a
Okay,
non-for-profit.
so that one, all right?
Yes.
And that's the only difference that there happens to be. They still have to run. When I set up a concert for somebody, I'm setting up a concert for 4 to 6 months for the time that they're going to need me, and we run it as a separate business. And that's what, we got to understand all that too. Now, you mentioned something about the different industries. So what we want to do is we're going to go into them in the second half of the show totally, but let's just mention a little bit about the type of industries and services that your company. Oh no, before we do that, I'm jumping all over the place tonight because you got me all excited. How do people get in touch with you about the healthcare?
Sure. So to get in touch with me about the healthcare, my phone number is, and you can either call or text, it's 815-347-6879. And I will give you a complimentary quote.
Could you give us the number
It only
again?
takes me about 3 minutes.
Michelle?
And that,
Michelle, give us the phone number again.
all right, for sure. 815-347-6879. And I should also let you know that there's nobody we can't cover from birth to death. So it can be used as a Medicare supplement. And we also do group plans for business owners.
Okay, sounds good.
that's really nice. Yeah.
So at least we got that. I'm sure now, and I'm happy that I was able to get that on air so for people to get a hold of it. Okay.
Sure.
Because Lord knows there's a lot of people that do not have any type of coverage.
Absolutely.
I'm
Because they
involved
can't.
with
They can't.
Yeah, I'm involved with the Way Clinic, and they provide these medical professionals donate their time
Right.
because you have a lot of people that don't have health care.
Absolutely.
This is a
Absolutely.
wonderful, wonderful product and service that you do have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what you're going to talk about now are wonderful services as well, but your health means more than anything else. And
For
people
sure.
are afraid to go to the hospital or to a doctor because they don't have the money, to go and do it. Perfect example is that prescription. Whether I can
Yeah.
pay for it or not, I wasn't going to pay for it.
Right.
I just couldn't see eye drops being so costly. So it's like saline water. That's
Right.
basically what
Right.
it is. So let's talk about some of your other industries that you're involved in before we wind up taking a break in a few minutes, and
Sure.
because we're going to explain everything when we come back. So tell us what
Sure.
else you do.
So what else I do is I hit both, like Norm said, residential and commercial services. So some of them I do is in deregulated areas. I do electric and gas. So that's where you have a choice. I usually have a product there for you. I do security and automation for home and business. wireless cell phone service on multiple providers, merchant payment processing for businesses, identity theft protection, which can be used for individuals or as a benefit for employers for their employees, high-speed internet, TV, and we also have a travel platform.
Wow. Now you handle all these like on a one-to-one basis.
I absolutely do. So I take the time to ask the questions. I make sure I have all the information. And if you currently have services, I do something, I do a free bill audit. And in a minute, I'll give you where, if you're interested in that, you can reach me at. The other thing that I do is I help a lot of people in the real estate space. So realtors who have people moving into new properties, or mortgage people who know people that are moving into properties. I help them set up the services. So it's kind of that one-stop shop. And I try and help them take some of that stress out of moving. But in the bill audit space, I actually have a program where I will do a free bill audit.
What does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean in English?
It means that I look at your current bills and see if I can find you money.
What bills?
All of those services I just talked about.
Okay.
Electricity, gas, security and automation, cell phone, payment processing, TV, internet. Any of those bills I can look at to see if I can find you money that you're out that you don't need to.
Do you have a staff?
No, I do it all myself.
You do all this by yourself? And
Absolutely.
And NRG?
And NRG, and I own 2 other networking companies. So yes.
And when does she find time to be on this show?
I just found it. But I love my clientele. I treat each and every one of them because my model is that I want to serve you, right? And if I'm serving you to the best of my ability, you're going to come back. I had one gentleman, it was really cute. He called me. Where he moved, there was nothing I could do for him. There wasn't a service I could help him with, but I helped him find the service providers in that area so he could get what he needed. He moved. He called me. I could help him with his electricity. Then he moved again, and now I do electricity, gas, and internet, and his home security. So it's cultivating relationships that makes what I do so amazing.
And you certainly do them, and you do them so nicely. And I'm not talking about I'm talking about you.
Yeah.
You always are there for somebody in need or needs some help. All right? And that's you.
Absolutely. And I go a little bit further, if people need help, they're having a hard time getting a hold of the provider, or they want to reach out to me first to see if there's anything that I can talk them through, I am absolutely at their disposal and a resource for them in that space. I never leave a client high and dry, ever, because that doesn't serve you, and that definitely doesn't serve me, because that's not who I am.
Okay. And you know something, Michelle and Norm, in today's environment, I'll just say, rather than get into the details, that's lacking.
Yes.
What you're providing is lacking, because it's like, okay, let me call insurance company. What do you get? You don't even get anybody to talk to anymore. What do you get? You get an answering. Oh, press 1, press 2, press 3. And then the person that comes on, I call them level 1, right? They only have a script, right? Oh, I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do for you. And there's a lot of companies where they'll give a number and you're trying to get a human voice and you just can't.
Right.
Well, here's a perfect example. We both know, all of us know, that I have an entertainment business. Well, my entertainment business sells tickets to the shows I do. So I was dealing, and I use the word was dealing until about 2 months ago, with a major international ticket service. Not Ticketmaster, because those people are sick. I mean, what they charge for people it's a shame, and it should be outlawed. Anyway, this major company, anytime, which was very infrequently, I had an issue, I could never speak to a human being. I couldn't even get my problem across to anybody. It was just a real horrible. And that's it. I was done. I was at, and that's happening more and more in all industries.
Yes.
Because they really think that AI is going to take the place in that kind of situation with a real live person. Not going to happen.
Yep.
Well,
and
Well, Michelle,
you
would talk.
I have
ahead.
some senior citizens that call me every month because they need to get online and pay a bill and can't remember how to get logged in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I do. I'm good. I'm good. Give me a call. Let me help you.
Well, you
because
are good.
again, I don't want you to feel that frustration if you don't have to.
All right, we're going to take a break now, but I need Michelle to do something. So I'm just going to throw this out here. Anybody who is watching us tonight, not listening on radio, but actually watching the podcast, and you have a computer, Michelle is going to give you the website to go on. So we're going to go over her actual business internet and go over each this different way she can save you money. So how do they get it? How do they watch that?
So the website that you can go in and look at is the number 2, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, Wilson, WILSON ACNIBO, and that's B as in boy, .com.
Okay.
And that will get you to my shopping site.
All right, so everybody sit tight. We're going to be back in 2 minutes. We'll be back soon. Thank you.
My name is Lisa Rodino. I am a commercial loan advisor and broker. Have you been finding that your business's cash flow is not where you need it to be? Have you found yourself taking from your personal accounts to meet your business's obligations? Have you found that those quick solutions of quick money are starting to get awfully expensive? My job is to find the right funding products for my clients, so they can get back to working in their business and give me the task of finding the best options for their situation. Give us a call today to learn more. 516-268-0350.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Friend Entertainment USA. My name is Norman Wasserman. I am also known as the Music Man. Let me just tell you a little bit about Friend Entertainment. We put on concerts for charities, and we do that everywhere from New York to Las Vegas. We do R&B, Motown, rock and roll, jazz, whatever it is that you wish. Friend Entertainment will deliver the best of the best for you and your charity. Here are some of the names of the talent that have performed with us on our stage. Stevie Wonder, Tina Turner, The Temptations, Earth, Wind and Fire, the one and only ELO, Elton John himself, Kool and the Gang, and the fabulous Donna Summer. Go to our website, friendentusa.com. That's www.friendentusa.com, or feel free to call us at 631-698-9696. 631-698-9696, and we'll see you at the next show.
Okay, so welcome back, everybody, to the Business Awareness Hour with our guest, special guest, Michelle Wilson. We thank you here, who is part of a company called ACN and is also vice president of a network group that I belong to and that Linda Grace Farley belongs to called NRJ. And if you call if you call Michelle, she'll tell you all about NRJ as well. And she'll bring you on board if you would like. But let's do this. Let's go back to your website if we could. And if people, we got it up on our screen as well. And as you scan down a little bit, you're going to see, let's go, I guess I'm doing this wrong. Let's go back. Okay, ACN is going to come up, and right next to the ACN button is a button that says Services. And if you just put your cursor over it, you're going to see on the left-hand side residential services and then business services on the right side. We're going to jump into travel first, and we're going to ask Michelle to explain a little bit about the travel service. Now, what we're going to do, because we got so many of these, Michelle, we're going to do a minute to two on each subject.
Sure, and I might be faster on some. So Truvy Lifestyle is actually our travel program that we do, and it's a wonderful program in the fact that when you pay your premium, There's two levels. There's a regular level and a platinum level. And the platinum gets you a few more bells and whistles, so to speak. It gets you into airport lounges and stuff like that, where the other program, the gold, does not. But what's cool about it is that when you sign up for it, the money you put into it gets to be used for travel, in the fact that it helps to offset the cost of your hotel. So what you put into it can be used as travel credits to your hotel bills, depending on where you're staying. And there's different levels depending on the hotels and the agreements with the organization, but they do everything. At the platinum level, you get a concierge. So if you want to book a trip and you want to do something and you need someone to help you to find the best flights, the best places to stay, the best activities when you're there, or something goes wrong when you're on your trip, you have someone to call that can help you solve those problems or get you the best itinerary in exactly everything that you want. They do cruising, they do airfare, they do hotels. So it's kind of that all-inclusive travel club, which I love.
Good job. Now we're going to jump to mobile.
Right. So in the mobile space, I'm pulling it up at the same time here too, guys. So in the mobile space, we have a couple different providers, and our signature provider that that ACN is part of is Flash Mobile. And we are on the T-Mobile networks, and we have both data plans and then unlimited plans. And what I love about the unlimited plans is there is our unlimited plan that actually gets you fast data. And what's great about it is each one of those slots that you do. So if you have one phone or three phones or five phones or four phones, what that high-speed data is for every line. A lot of plans, it's a group unlimited data. And once you hit a certain amount of data used, those speeds slow down slightly.
Question for you.
The other thing I love about our top plan is that it includes all of those extra fees in it. So what you see as pricing is the price that shows up on your bill.
Michelle, question for you. Flash Mobile. Now, I live on the East Coast. I have never heard of Flash Mobile here. AT&T, Spectrum, gotcha. But Flash Mobile, are they not here in the East Coast?
They are everywhere. But why you haven't heard of them is because they're our private label.
Good reason.
We use the T-Mobile lines through Flash Mobile. So we're a third-party vendor to T-Mobile, but we're called Flash Mobile. Okay. And our contract or agreement with them gives them the great pricing that we have.
Identity theft protection.
Sure. So identity theft protection is with ID Seal, which is an amazing product that I absolutely adore. And it does things unlike some of the other companies out there. And it does the monitoring like them. But what I love about it is it goes a little bit further. So most identity theft protections, whether it's offered to you by your credit card company or your bank or X, Y, and Z, they miss a lot of things. So they'll cover those major things, your major credit card, your social security number, your banking accounts. They'll cover those things. But with ID Seal, it's all the way down to a gym membership. So you can put those, if you have a Target Visa or a Target credit card, it counts. A JCPenney credit card, a Best Buy credit card, they all count as they can be monitored through our system, which I love. Because most people don't understand, especially at a gym membership, there are gyms that actually have your credit card attached to your membership because you go to the smoothie bar or you go to the sports shop and all you have to do is tap your card. Right. Because it's attached to your credit card. Super simple to actually breach. Most people also don't realize that almost everybody on here has their information out there. Somebody just hasn't used it yet. And for about $25, give or take, I can get some social security number, their credit card number, and their birth date, and a passport number for about $25 on the dark web. Yeah. So it's just the fact that somebody hasn't used it yet.
Okay, let's go now to a category that's in both residential and business services called gas and electricity.
Sure. So gas and electricity, we are in deregulated areas. So basically, if you have a choice of who your provider is, I more than likely have a service for you. What I love about that is we are in multiple countries in that space also. And we just look at what you're paying and see how it translates to what we can possibly save you.
Okay, healthcare.
So is this, can I ask a question on this?
No.
It's so is this, you negotiate with the established companies? Is that,
So
would that be
we
a true?
actually, ACN actually has part ownership in a company called Zoom Energy, and they are the wholesale buyer, and they give us the pricing at a usually better than what the incumbent or other companies are seeing in the area. So we go through Zoom Energy.
Okay.
All
Right,
right, let's-
because I live in Florida, so with Florida, the only game in town is Florida.
Correct, because you are not a deregulated state as of yet.
Ah, thank you for clarifying
So,
that.
and
because I
then
would-
there's other people like me. I live in Texas, which is deregulated, but there are pockets in our communities where there's a co-op and you don't have a choice, because I actually live in one of those. So I don't have a choice of my provider because I live in one of those co-ops.
And what about New York?
New York, they've done a little bit of changing of their laws, but there are areas and pockets that I can absolutely help people with gas and electricity.
All right, let's do healthcare. But you know what, Michelle? Because it's getting late. Let's go
Yeah.
to the business services healthcare, because we already found out about the
Sure.
personal and residential. Let's describe
So-
business healthcare.
So it's very similar in the healthcare space in the business. So we can help businesses that actually want to provide a benefit to their employees to keep them on staff, because people will hold on to a job they hate just for benefits.
Correct.
It also is very expensive to train an employee, right? And if they leave because someone gives them benefits that you didn't, it gives them an option. We had a gentleman who owns a business. He was paying about $53,000 a month in health coverage for just his employees, his part of it, right? So the employee was paying part of it also. We looked at moving him to Impact. He ended up saving almost $30,000 a month.
Wow.
Plus, we added the whole families of those people who had families and paid the full bill. And he still saved about $30,000 a month.
That's insane.
Wow.
Great job. Good job.
So it's pretty exciting what it can do for a small, medium, any size company to be able to, one, keep that money in. Just think about it, because the employee got a raise, right? Because part of their paycheck was no longer going to pay for their medical insurance because they were paying full on. So they got a raise, they got a benefit. They're extremely happy.
Healthcare. I'm sorry. High-speed internet.
So
Residential.
high-speed internet right now until December or January is just residential. We will be launching our business platform in December or January of this year, or the beginning of next year. So I'll be able to help those people in both residential and business. And we work with big names, AT&T, Spectrum, Frontier. On the business side, there's going to be about 7 to 10 different entities that we work with also.
Television.
Same thing. We are attached to the big names, right? AT&T, which is DirecTV, and we do DirecTV streaming. We are Frontier and Dish. We also do Spectrum in the TV space.
So,
And I can
so
do
let
that
me-
both residential and business.
So, Michelle, let me ask you something. Suppose we have some listeners who are already using AT&T.
That's a
How would
little
that
bit
work?
harder, but I can take a look at it and see what we could possibly do.
have you ever
Okay.
been able to lower rates, like say from AT&T, as Linda's saying, for somebody that's already been there?
We have.
Okay, so that's a good answer.
We have.
Security and automation.
So security and automation, we have an amazing partner in that space, and we are partnered with Vivint Security and Automation. They are the number one on the continental U.S. for in that space. They have an amazing platform, a great product. I have a very good connection with them. I do that both residentially and commercially. I help a lot of mom and pop smaller stores or franchises that have smaller stores get coverage in their stores so that they have the security and the protections that they need, not only in their household, but also in their businesses, because there is usually a break on insurance if you have some kind of protection and it's monitored. And we do an amazing job with that.
Television. Did we do television?
We sure did.
We did. I'm like out of control here. Okay,
let's see. Payment processing is the other one, and that is basically just for businesses. We work with a company called Sphere out of Las Colinas, Texas. An amazing partner we have. We do have a program that if you process more than about $4,000 in credit card transactions a month, and we do a quote, if we can't meet or beat what you're already paying in processing, they do a $200 gift card back to the person just for trying to see if they could beat the price.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question because I don't see it down here. Do you have a payroll function too? Is that any part of ACN do payroll?
Not as of yet, but there's been discussions, but I can't say yay or nay to that yet.
I can yay and nay to that yet.
Very good. One of the really cool things that we did just launch for our people in Canada is we actually do quite a few services up there, but we just got into the mortgage business in Canada.
Wow.
So I can see if we can help people, one, get finance to get into a new home, or refinance to help save money on interest rates and what they're doing in that space.
Well, let's find out a little bit, because this is important, especially to businesses, to every business.
Sure.
And the security automation has got to be different. It has to be drastically different than for residential services. What things do you do to protect a business more so than what you do for residential?
So ironically, they're very similar. Our system is designed very differently than some of the other ones out there. So there's a control panel. So if there is a breach, say, right, someone comes through the control panel and asks for a password, the verbal passcode. And if you're in the store and something is happening and you're in danger, you just say something else besides that passcode, so to speak, right? And what they do is they deem that as a verified call, and it goes to the top of the list for the police department, like a response to a bank robbery, right? That it's verified and something is happening and we need immediate response. In business, we just walk the perimeter, what we need it to do. Do we need to have an outside camera? Do we need a backdoor camera? They do the door sensors. We do a lot of glass breaks in that space because a glass break will trigger an alarm. A camera will not. And that's a major misconception. It's great to have the video footage so we can catch them, but it's the glass break sensor that will actually trigger the alarm. They are fully manned. You can man them remotely by using your phone or a mobile device. You can watch your cameras and feed. They also have cameras. The cameras are also audio, so you can hear what's going on. We have somebody who uses them as a training device in their business, right? So they do a lot of education, and so she can pop on, see what training needs to be done as to how someone is interacting with a client. So it's really kind of cool on how we set that up, and it's really size of the business. We figure out what is needed, where it's needed. I have some that have garage doors because they have a shipping bay at the back, and there's sensors we can put on that so that if there's a breach there, it's an automatic alarm. So we just customize it to what either the residential or business client needs. And I put them on the phone with a specialist who absolutely knows what they're doing. I work with one in particular who's an amazing human being. And he takes exceptional care of my clients.
So let me ask you a question. We got the security and automation. You just explained that. But doesn't television fall into that category as well?
Not necessarily, because television is a little bit, it's more of a viewing kind of a thing, right? It's not the security and automation part of it, because you can have your lights go on and off and certain things along that way, and integrate things in your household to do different things. TV is a service. It's basically what channels you get and what channels you don't get.
But people aren't, I mean, unless you have a waiting room, people aren't watching TV.
Not really. Well, in a business, think about this. So you have a sports. People are definitely watching TV in a sports bar.
Absolutely. But when you go
So
to a
we have
manufacturing
the
company,
satellite TV, so they can be streaming every game. They can be, watching all of the cricket and the hockey and whatever it is. And we have beauty salons to do the same thing because they want to be able to offer, Lifetime or the Disney Channel if it's a kids salon, different things in that space so that there's something to keep people engaged while they're in the facility.
cool. I got to tell you, I'm out of breath.
Well, may I just, because I love surfing the web here. And one thing that really stood out from this webpage was ACN's integrity in action. They are an accredited business.
They are, for
So
sure.
so Better Business Bureau, that they get an A+. So my hat's off to
Hey, that's huge. That's huge.
ACN.
Well, and the other thing you love about that, and people who are in my industry will recognize this, the Direct Selling Association.
Mhm.
There are people in our company at very high levels that sit at very high levels on those boards, and help with guidance and making sure companies are acting ethically, because that is what our basis is on, more than anything, is to be an ethical company so that we're serving our people who have decided to look at this and make this for themselves as another stream of income. We want to make sure that we're providing the best all-around experience for everyone involved.
If you're a sample of the people that are working in ACN, all right, then your phone's got to be ringing off the hook, because you are so good at what it is that you do. But I want to go back for a second, because I know this is really important to you. Impact Health Sharing. You want to, now we have a few minutes left. I want to use these few minutes to drive business to healthcare. I'm sorry, to Impact Health Sharing. And it's also some sort of enrollment period at this time of year, right?
What's really fun about HealthShare? HealthShare isn't health insurance. So it's a little bit different. So yes, open enrollment is happening right now. It goes till January 15th. So anybody who's looking price out to see if they can do better than what's being offered to them, I'm absolutely here for that. It only takes me a few minutes to do that. And the questions that you need answers. If I don't have the answers, I will put you in with someone at Impact who answer your specific question. But we're unique in the fact that you can sign up for Impact anytime. So stop Impact at any time you want. But I haven't seen anybody leave us that I've introduced to it. But that's what's unique, because it's health share. It's health coverage, not health insurance. It works a little bit different in that space. So there's no open enrollment. You don't have to have a life change. You don't have to have all of those criteria in order to change traditional health insurance. You don't have that with a health share product.
So Michelle, let me ask you a question. Chiropractors, acupuncturists, does the health share pay for that?
Chiropractic is covered on HealthShare. Absolutely. We getting ready. I don't have final dates on it, but we are looking in more of that holistic approach. Like I have a friend who gets vitamin drips infusions, and it's covered.
Sure.
It's covered. But some of that other stuff, acupuncture, red light therapy, some of those other things, they're coming. I just haven't got the final word on what that's going to look like yet.
Or what the time frame happens to be?
I'm not 100% sure. We've been talking about it for a while. The hiccup, so to speak, but we are working on getting that rolled out as fast as possible, because again, health share people who tend to be on the healthier side, right? And in that space, those people use those. Because I know personally, me, I go to cryo every day. I do red light every day. I do my Beamer every day. All of those things are super important. And it's part of my lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And to be rewarded for that, to have some of that stuff coverage is absolutely looking at moving towards. It may be a price to have that added. Don't know what it's going to look like yet, but I know it's coming.
I think you're burning out your microphone because you're breaking up from place to place. I think your microphone's tired. Now, you mentioned your multi-level marketing. If people want to get involved and maybe being on your staff or however it works in your company, how do they call your number?
Absolutely. They
So
can
let's
call
give
me.
your number again because we're running out of time soon
Absolutely.
anyway. So let's do that.
So my phone number is 815-347-6879. Again, it's 815-347-6879. And we do opportunity meetings almost every night of the week. We do them on Zoom, so you can do them from the comfort of your own home. If you're interested in taking a look and maybe understanding a little bit more what it is, what we do, and if it's a good fit for you and your family, I'd love to take the time to do that for you. The other way you can reach out to me is by my email, and I'm going to go really slow because it's kind of long. It's the M as in Mary, S as in Sam, Wilson, WILSON .ACN@gmail.com. Again, it's 2 and
The number 2.
the number 2, M as in Mary, S as in Sam, Wilson, WILSON .A as in Apple, C as in cat, N as in Nancy @gmail.com.
And I have a question, Michelle. Is there a membership fee to be part of the ACN?
So yes, there is. So
Okay.
to get started, it's $2.99 and then it's $25 a month. And they do all the things that are expensive in business, right? They have the IT department. They keep the website up to date. They do all of the contracts with all the companies we partner with. They do all of that legal stuff that can be really expensive. They also have the brick and mortar building that is our headquarters. So they have all of that available,
Okay.
but that is all encompassed in those fees.
Okay. So is that commercial and residential?
It's for all of the services you my web.
Okay. Okay.
And that website is provided with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just this fact. Decide you want to do it. 3 minutes. I enter in your information and I press send. And in a matter of 2 minutes, your website is live and you're in business.
Is that
Is there-
charge yearly or is it forever?
So the $2.99 is a one-time fee. The $20 a month is a monthly charge until you're no longer in the business. And then there is a $49 yearly charge just to renew in your space. And like I said, it's been beneficial to my family. I never do income claims by any stretch of the imagination because as you know, no matter what you do, as much work as you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. For us, it has made a huge difference in our lifestyle. I've been in real estate. At this point, we've been able to do some things we never thought we would be able because of ACN in our lives.
That's great.
It also gave me something another company couldn't do. So if I worked a 9-to-5 job, my mom was terminally ill. I was able to leave the state I live in, go to Arizona, and I was her caretaker for 4 months. Something I couldn't have done with a regular job.
Right.
I could still work my business in the cracks of my time when I wasn't taking care of my mother. And I could be there until her very last second, which was a huge blessing in my life. And I believe in hers too.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm emotional about that one.
I think I can safely say that you did a phenomenal job. Just listen to our audience. They're loving you. I'm telling you that. You really did a great job. Kudos to you. I hope we got everything in for you.
I think we did.
Okay. Well, I thank you so much for being a guest tonight. And Linda, as always, love having you as a co-host.
I love it. Thank you for the invite.
You were the beam and
And
beamer.
And to meet people like Michelle I mean, there's so many different people out there that have a story to tell.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
I love hearing stories.
You know,
So thank you very much, Michelle, for sharing yours tonight.
I mention a lot
It's
when people
an
ask
amazing product.
about how did the show go, whatever. And when we talk at NRG, we get a minute, two, maybe three, and we can't get a fraction of
Right.
what it is that you really. I didn't know more than half the stuff of what you do. All right,
Me
because
neither, Norm.
we don't have the time and what. That's why this is such a valuable tool to get the awareness. Hello, to get the awareness out about companies
Yes.
and about businesses. And again, thank you so much for being on the Business Awareness Show. And hopefully you do it again next year.
Well, I am so grateful, Les, that I was able to do this with you, both Norman and Linda. It has been an absolute delight for me. Like I said, it's about serving those. So if I can help anyone, I'm here to do so. So thank you so very,
I
very
thank
much.
you again. Just hang out there
Thank you,
for a
Michelle.
little bit. Okay, we're done for this evening, but we have one more show tomorrow night. All right, I think you want to tune in and listen and watch Tina Higgins. I'm not going to tell you what she does. We're going to surprise you tomorrow when you tune in. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Linda, thanks for being a co-host. Michelle, all right, and we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The Business Awareness Hour with Lisa and the Music Man is brought to you by Media Stations in Bohemia, New York. Create your own media and have your own station. That's Media Stations in Bohemia, New York. 516-448-2066 or visit mediastationsinc.com.